What's up everyone, Matt HD here, and today I'm going to show you how to update your Bootcamp graphics drivers to one of the very later versions, one of the latest versions of the AMD graphics drivers. They're unofficial drivers, which I've modified myself to make sure that they work in Bootcamp. So your mileage may vary, but you tend to find that quite a few of the releases are generally pretty stable, and the games actually work with better frames per second and smoother gameplay. So this is an instruction video on how to get that all up to date. So you start off by visiting bootcampdrivers.com, and that'll take you to this website where you can see the latest version of Crimson. And if you scroll down, there's a number of different downloads. Most people will be interested in the Windows 10 one, and that is because Apple don't let you install anything else anymore, only Windows 10. But there are ones for Windows 8.1, which AMD stopped supporting back in the summer. And there's also an older one for Windows 7. Sometimes I'll update that. And if you have an older graphics card from a Mac that was released before 2013, that's an AMD card, then you will need to use the legacy drivers, so the 6000 series. So for example, 6790M. If you have one of those iMacs from 2012, you'll need to download this one instead, because the new ones won't work. So yeah, to get started then, so you will click the download button on the version, and yeah, so that will load up this mega.nz website. This is the file host that I use. This big red button here, which you can see, that'll actually say download. You can see I've already started to download this file. So you just click that and it will start to download the file into your browser. Once you've done that, you will have a zip file. So you double click on the zip file in your downloads folder, click on that and click extract all, and that'll just extract to the folder of your choice. So yeah, once you've done that, if you want to have a look at what's in there, so we'll open up the folder, and you'll want to unpack display driver uninstaller by double clicking DDU and clicking extract. So that'll extract display driver uninstaller, but in the new versions you cannot reboot into safe mode by using display driver uninstaller, so we have to do that manually instead. So to do that, the next step is to go into the Windows Start menu, press the power button, and whilst holding the Shift key down here, you press Restart. So you press Restart while holding the Shift key. Now we just wait for it to get to the blue screen. So now we're at the blue screen. You'll want to choose Troubleshoot, then Advanced Options, Startup Settings, and then just click the Restart button here. So if you click that Restart button, now you hold down the Option key so that you can select Windows again upon restart. Okay, so you'll see we're now at a new screen after rebooting back into Windows, and the option that we need to choose is number 4 to enable safe mode. So we literally press number 4 on the keyboard. So now we're booting into Windows, and we'll be back shortly. Okay, so you can now see that we've rebooted into safe mode. So the next thing you want to do is run display driver uninstaller, so double click on it and just click clean and restart. So we'll click clean and restart, let it do its thing. It'll just take a little bit of time to uninstall the graphics driver, and it will restart on its own once it's done. It usually takes about a minute. So there we go. So now it should be restarting. and reboot back into Windows again, and we'll be ready to install the driver. So we're now back on the desktop, and to confirm that the device display driver has been uninstalled, you search for device in the search bar, select device manager, open up display adapters, and it should say Microsoft Basic Display Adapter on there. So that means it's uninstalled. So now we can go into the folder again, and we can run setup.exe. So click yes. So what I'm going to do, I'll leave this video to actually run and install. So yeah, just click accept and install. It'll detect your CPU. And either express install or custom install. If one doesn't work for you for some reason, then try the other one. So in our case, express install will install everything that we need. So preparing the graphics card. Keep an eye out in the top left there under display, the display adapters. That will actually start updating once the display driver is installed. So it's just takes a minute or two, and the screen will go off as well. So there's that flicker, and then the screen's back, and immediately you can see device manager now says AMD Radeon. So my machine is an M295X from 2014, and I used to have it saying Bootcamp XG edition at the end of it, but I decided to get rid of it to just improve overall driver compatibility with programs, etc., that will try and recognize your graphics card to improve performance and to use OpenCL. So yeah, we're at the stage now where you can install Radeon Relive if you want to, or Relive, however you pronounce that. And then that's now installed, so you will want to restart your machine now. So let's restart. Okay, so we're back on the desktop yet again, and we can now go into Radeon Crimson settings. So we'll go down here and Radeon settings, open Radeon settings, and we can show you what version we are currently running. So with the new drivers, you can see they have updated to one other than the official Apple drivers. You can also check to see if it's working okay by going back into Device Manager, searching for device, opening Device Manager, and going up here into Display Adapters once again. So you go in here, right click and go down to Properties, and it should say this device is working properly, and you can check the driver details in here as well. So you have all the date and who signed it, which is my website, bootcampdrivers.com. We're not quite done yet. There's a couple more things you'll probably want to do. So next thing, if you go into gaming, global settings, you'll want to change texture filtering to performance, switch on OpenGL triple buffering, and ideally as well frame rate target control 60 FPS. If your computer's powerful enough as well, turn vertical refresh on, so VSync basically, and if you combine VSync with the frame rate target control of 60 FPS, then you won't get any input lag, or very minimal input lag associated with VSync. Of course, your GPU needs to be powerful enough to maintain 60 frames per second. If you start getting drops below that, then VSync won't be as smooth, and you will start to get input lag. Okay, so with these settings now applied, the next thing you'll want to do is to download Max Fan Control, which I've already done. So I'll show you some settings and why you should download that now. So it's this thing here. So Max Fan Control. Why you should download this? Well, it basically overrides Apple's firmware to ramp the fans up sooner. So you get better thermal management of the GPU, so it's less likely to downclock, and so you're less likely to get GPU stuttering, frame rate stutters, and you can even actually slightly overclock depending on the graphics card if you choose to. So to do this, once you download Max Fan Control, double click on this little bit here under Control, and it needs to be sensor base value GPU diode. Set the temperature that fan speed will start to increase from 65 and leave the maximum temperature whatever it sets it at, which will be probably 73. And so the fans will ramp up a lot sooner. Yes, it'll probably get louder a lot quicker, but you will get a better overall gaming experience. And if it bothers you that much with the fan noise, then you should probably be using headphones. So that's basically it. There's one more thing. Overclocking, so MSI afterburner. It doesn't work with every card, and it doesn't work with every version of the driver. It should work on modern cards, on many cards, with version 17.11.1, but it doesn't always. It doesn't look like it actually works properly with my M295X, but I haven't tried it on this version yet. But the core memory clock is supposed to be 850 MHz, where it's actually showing 318. But anyway, if you want to overclock, you click the settings, make sure all these are ticked all the way down here. You'll also want to tick extend overclocking limits, and if you get the option to as well, unofficial overclocking mode, you can set that to with power play support. Then that is also quite useful to do if you have problems with overclocking. Then that one almost always works, but I can't seem to do that at the moment for whatever reason with the current driver. So that is essentially it. You might find sometimes there are bugs when AMD release the drivers. They are generally beta rather than stable releases. The only exception is if they have a WHQL certification from Microsoft, which is what 17.11.1 has. So they tend to be more stable and generally have the least amount of issues. They get released probably once every 2 or 3 months, something like that. But I will also release. I always test these drivers out before releasing them. And 17.11.2, for example, is very buggy, so I have decided not to release it at all. And certainly 17.11.1 works great now. There's no micro stuttering issues with this version that have been affecting previous versions and also the official Apple Bootcamp driver. So it's one of the many reasons why you should really use my drivers. But that's for another video in more detail. So that's it from me, and see you in the next one. I should also point out as well, brightness controls do work. So yeah, you can see there the brightness controls just work just fine. They haven't done in the past with some drivers, but they do now. So that's it, and bye for now.